All right, welcome to episode 14, Folk It. We are back here with Tim. Tim's got some great news about the job. We're going to talk about that, my interviews, UFC at the White House, steroid abuse and fitness industry in general. Plus, we're going to circle back. This is the top of the show. We're going to circle back to the first episode because yesterday I did a great rant. I love these solo rants that I do without you, Tim. But I'll give you I'll backfill what that was about and then why it's important in the whole grand scheme of the ecosystem of Folkit. How you doing?
Okay, I'm good. Yeah, just enjoying life.
I like that jacket. Like what? You look stylish.
Yeah, it's I always got some style.
That's right. Better than me. I just go black t-shirt. I'm like Joe Rogan style. One shirt color. White.
Yeah,
Occasionally I'll do white, but that's it.
yeah. I mean, Joe Rogan got me into that whole t-shirt thing. I'm like, hey, you can just wear a t-shirt every day. So then I started wearing like t-shirts, but then just different things, so I don't look like I'm just wearing a t-shirt. Like this one, I got like a Bruno Mars.
Oh yeah, that is stylish. Look at
I
that.
went to,
Bruno Mars with Hello Kitty.
yeah,
Man, yeah, I
yeah,
gotta up my game. I gotta get some tips. That's a good looking outfit, man.
yeah, yeah.
So, let's see. Let me start with giving you the recap of yesterday. I'm also digging the frames. Like you got a nice got a style going here. No wonder you got hired so quick.
I'm very camera friendly.
You are indeed. That's why this is gonna podcast is gonna blow up. We're gonna start like putting Tim all over the homepage. So like, check out my new jacket.
Okay.
So let's see. What am I was at? What was I gonna?
You were talking about the one topic.
Right. Serious. We're gonna start serious. Let's mindset shift. Right, serious. So yesterday I did a rant. Um, without you. They're fun. They're like 10 minutes. I could talk for like 100 minutes on these topics. But it was about AI again. I saw this article in Harvard Business Review. It was about a study. I think the study was Stanford. But essentially, what they did was looked at people using AI, ChatGPT style LLMs in work. And they had a name for this. What came out of it, they called it work slop. So, what the study said was you at work use ChatGPT to do something, right? And it produces work slop, emails, summaries, documents, blah, blah, blah. And you pass that slop on to somebody else, that ends up costing your job. Like they studied this up to like 40% efficiency. So it's costing your company money when you're using ChatGPT. And individuals kind of feel like, oh, it's helpful, but you're passing on something that's probably untrue. Like we know we've seen all these studies now. They always make stuff up. Like ChatGPT is always hallucinating. It's built into how it's designed, but it's confident about it, right? So it's confidently making stuff up, and you start to believe it. So anyway, that's what this story was about. And I have been calling it for like the last year or so. I call this, remember that movie, The Human Centipede?
Yeah,
All right. So you remember how in The Human Centipede, the people kind of got tied up together so that they were pooping and your poop ended up in somebody else? I don't want to
yeah,
get too graphic, right? But remember
yeah.
that chain of poop. It was a poop chain. That's what AI is at work. It's the AI centipede. When you're at work and you're producing slop, you're passing your slop on to somebody else, and down the poor person at the end of the slop chain is getting, sick and dying. So that was my rant yesterday, and it's a good one. You should check it out if you didn't. I make the case eloquently without getting too much detail about the AI centipede.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said. It's like yeah, like it and this all go went back to how even in job searching that the the AI is making your life harder, the recruiter's life harder, hiring like it, and that's not even like it's like someone intentionally doing it, right? It's just that somehow this exists and none of the people using it has any decision that it needs to be used. So then, and we're learning to live with it. It's like, okay, now it's like, okay, everyone needs to get some COVID because the only way we can get through this COVID is everyone getting COVID. So everyone kind of got some COVID, and now we're like, okay, now we're living in a world where everyone has COVID, and if you don't have COVID, you better get some COVID, or else you can't be part of this.
Yeah, so I'm pushing back. I mean, that's where I'm like, I get it. We're all kind of stuck because, COVID in this case is Chat GPT. And
Right.
God with like $250 billion has decided that he was going to shove it down everybody's throat.
Yeah.
And it worked, right? Like he's,
And this and the thing is, to them, this is not a $250 billion idea. To them, this is like a multi-trillion-dollar idea. So for them, it's like think about like even with my net worth, if I'm thinking, okay, there's an idea that I can be in the driver's seat to do something about it, and by doing that, I can triple my net worth.
yeah, I mean, that's the plan, I think, for some of them. I mean, but at this point, like this is where it's all good. This show is all going to blend together. So I don't want to jump ahead too much, right? But there are things we know about how large language models work.
Mm-hmm.
AI is not that awesome Alien Earth show that we're watching that I finished, by the way. That is not what AI is. The $1 trillion idea, though, is that kind of AI.
Well, no, no. Well, okay. I disagree with that. Like we truly don't know what I agree with you. This is a large language model.
Mhm.
And I think we talked about it before. More and more people are understanding what how this large language model works. And by having that, there is some value, even though this is not the freaking AI in Ex Machina. It's a different sort of tool that that does this thing that and has and we never had this type of capability before, right? So once you have that, how much is that worth? We don't know.
Okay.
I don't think.
Well, I'll give you that. I'll give you, we don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, but maybe I am. So we'll entertain it. So we know these LLMs, like what we know about them. They're based on neural nets. Neural nets are statistical models. It's a statistical model of language. We
Yeah,
know that the language was harvested off the internet,
yeah.
mostly kind of social media, Wikipedia, these type of things. And when they're used, they always hallucinate, meaning like the whole way the model works is you give it an input string and it tells you what the next word
Mm-hmm.
probably will be.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
statistics. But it occasionally, goofs up. It's like, well, I don't want to give you the most likely word. I want to give you the third most likely word.
yeah.
And that was found out by experimentation. It wasn't like they found out that if they always gave you the most likely word, that
Mm-hmm.
you didn't get very good, realistic looking text. So occasionally they mix it up.
Yeah. So let's understand. I agree. I agree fully. Exactly what you said. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's good. So I'm going back now to when you use it at work. We're just
Mm-hmm.
going to take this work slop example.
Yeah.
You might use it to generate an email.
Right.
And your email, when you generate it, it's going to mess up. Like you're going to spend some time crafting a, hey, ChatGPT, make me an email to send to my so and so, make it in this tone, make it like tell a story. And then it's going to output something, but it's going to mess up. So you have two options at that point. One is review it carefully. The other one is review it a little bit and send it. Actually, three options because you could also not review it at all and just send.
Mhm.
Roll the
Yeah.
dice.
So here for that example, right? Exact example you talked about. I just recently used ChatGPT for something like that, right? So I my example was okay. There's like a friend I know like, but I never like texted this person like through Instagram.
Yep.
And I need to ask her for something, like, because her dad has a financial advisor. I was like, oh, I kind of want to talk to a financial advisor, but I don't want to just call a Fidelity random person and talk to me. Yeah, we'll take care of your finance, right? So I was like, okay, I know somebody who has a good financial advisor. So I wanted to ask about it, but in my head, I'm dwelling on, okay, how do I even ask, like, without sounding like, uh, like, without sounding weird, like, oh, hey, you know, can I talk to your dad about this financial advisor? And then I just kind of gave ChatGPT the idea, okay, this is what I want to talk about, exactly what I kind of just described to you. And and then ChatGPT kind of said, okay, like, you need to cover a couple points first. You don't want to sound like you're asking about their finances. So make sure you don't have languages that kind of say stuff like, "Oh, I like my intent is to know more about your finance." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like a good point. Yeah, that's
Okay.
something I
Okay.
don't want
Okay.
you."
Good.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah,
Where do you think those words came from?
yeah. From the exactly what you said, the statistical way to kind of explain, like, okay, this is what it is. The concept of exactly what you were saying, like
Could it have been wrong?
it could, but it didn't. Even if it's wrong, it's something that kind of gives me thinking from a human being that like, yeah, I don't want to have a text that could it be interpreted as I'm trying to dig into their finance, right? Like, so I'm not using to be like, okay, copy and paste done. It kind of gives me an idea to kind of it's like talking to you, right? Like I trust you 95%. Like for the other 5%, you're probably talking bullshit. I don't know if you're talking bullshit. So I'm like,
Probably a little
okay,
high. Yeah, it's a little high. Okay.
yeah. So then I have my own way of kind of understanding what they're saying and kind of think about okay, what I want to do next, right?
So let me throw this out at you because you're describing trust in a statistical model.
It's not
You're
trust, like yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just a statistical model. And if you
yeah,
slightly change the words that you used on the question you ask, it
yeah,
could vastly change what it comes out. And if you
right,
ask the question a few times in a row, the same question, it's going to produce different answers.
yeah. Like no, I totally get it, right? Like what you're saying is 100% true, but at the same time, the way I'm if I didn't have ChatGPT, I in my head I would have just not send it. I would have think about it for another week, and it would be like a month. And then this mental hesitation for me sending something that I don't know how that would be interpreted, it kind of took that away. And then I did something about it.
So that's interesting because um, there is a very bad use case. And I don't think you're quite on the very bad use case yet. But the very bad use case is people using ChatGPT as a therapist or buddy. And I say this because we've seen people do it enough that it tricks their brains into you eventually, if you do this enough, can start to feel like ChatGPT is a friend. And
Yeah,
then
you don't. I mean, yeah, it could be,
ChatGPT,
but you don't quite know that, right? Like you don't know how how far someone would take it because this is such a new technology. Even
well,
it's considering like people vaping now, right? Like people vape. Yes, there's no real data, but you don't really know if vaping is gonna fuck you up as much as smoking a cigarette. Like 20 years from now.
yeah, well, right. This is exactly the why it's dangerous because well, actually, we do know now that it will absolutely fuck you up. Like there are people who have lost their minds and had psychotic breaks and been diagnosed as happening because of ChatGPT.
Yeah,
But kids get the same thing. Like kids vaping, kids in middle
yeah,
school are using ChatGPT. And kids in middle school go through emotional changes. Like they're nothing but drama in middle school, high school, same way. Would you want your kid turning to ChatGPT to ask it questions about growing up, mental issues?
like I honestly because I don't know. I haven't really thought of that as much. More I'm just more thinking about how how it's helping me. Like I yes, I see news about people dying. I see people doing that. I it's like I understand it. I could see that happening. I could totally see that happening. But I I feel that me personally, it kind of helped me get over some of the stuff that without it, I wouldn't be getting over, you know?
Right. I think you're in risky territory.
Yeah, it could be because this is so, like I said, this is so new.
Yeah.
I don't,
I,
it's like, no one really knows where it's going to go,
so
right?
going back to the fact that we started with, this is like people who have 200 something billion dollars hoping to make a trillion.
Hmm.
And they're putting out this product. It's a lot like social media in that regard, where they're
Yeah,
putting out a product that's addictive so they
yeah.
get eyeballs, so they can gain market share, and they don't know or care how it hurts people. Maybe they're sort of pretending like they care now in some cases, but
Hmm.
there is no way to fix the it lies to you problem.
Yeah,
And they know it. Like the people building it absolutely 100% know it can at any point tell you to kill yourself. Like if you're asking it a complicated question and it could just say, well, Tim, you should end it. And that
yeah,
would come from a 4chan post where somebody on 4chan thought they were an edge lord and have written out a story trying to get somebody to kill themselves.
yeah.
And it's not because it knows anything. It's just because it ingested 4chan posts. So
Right.
I'm of the
So should
opinion,
4chan be banned? Well, I mean, it should, I mean,
well, no, I like
yeah,
4chan is already kind of sequestered just by the nature of itself. It sequesters itself. You know,
yeah.
it has all this stuff that nobody wants to see for the most part. But ChatGPT isn't. ChatGPT is on every kid in high school's app on their phone right
Hmm.
now.
Hmm. Right.
So now they're tapped into it and they don't even know it. And the parents
Hmm.
don't know it. So it's just reckless. Like to me, this is the whole point of the folk ed and the serious part, right? Your brain is the most important thing you have. Humanity's collective brain power, all of human brains put together into like one ball. That is everything we have in this universe that's intelligent. That LLM is not intelligent. Don't let that couple hundred billionaire person try to screw our brains up because they want $1 trillion. They need to
Yeah,
prove it.
yeah, like I totally see what you're saying. Like, because I think we're saying the same thing, right? Like, is this AI intelligent? No, I don't think it's intelligent,
Right.
right? But is this AI a new type of programming language? Let's say this LLM, right? The way I interact with I look at it as the same way that if I'm learning C sharp or learning JavaScript. That if I do something, it generates something, and then whatever this is, it entertains me. It kind of get to certain thing I like, right? So that's the way I see it. I'm not looking at this as some assistant or some some AI, like some intelligent thing. I see it as a new program that I don't have to go to school. I can just kind of learn how it behave, and it's kind of that feedback is very interesting to me.
So yeah,
Like, yeah,
there's a
it
couple of
could
things in
be,
there. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I mean,
finish. Go ahead.
it could be completely wrong. Like it could do harm for me. At the same time, I'm like, okay, it's like drinking Coca-Cola. It's fucking delicious. Like I cannot, like I would get the Mexican Coke, and I could, if that's always in my shelf, I would drink it every freaking day, at least two a day, right? So, but we all know that it's freaking shit to you.
Right. So that it was designed to be like Mexican Coke. It was designed purposely to be addictive.
Yeah.
And that's simply the interface to the chat bot because it's a chat bot. We know people mostly use it for search. So like Google search has been replaced for a lot of people with ChatGPT. You're asking it questions and it's giving you answers, but the answers are wrong. So going back to my neighbor, if you're watching this, thanks for this tip because it gave me a great episode idea. Let's say your mom, right? She has a serious health problem, and your dad wants to look up information about this health problem. You don't want your dad to use ChatGPT because it's wrong all the time. And it could lie to your dad and hurt your mom. So having this tool
I
out
wouldn't
there,
trust my dad with using
well, we're
Uber.
just going with examples, right? Like
Yeah, no, yeah,
I
I
don't
wouldn't
mean
trust my
literally
dad
that.
using Uber because I'm going along here.
Well,
It,
what would you tell him to do? Which source of information would you tell your dad?
I would say call up a taxi, tell them to come to your address, pick you up, and go. Don't be trying to use Uber because I know he will fuck up. But
So
if
tell him to go to the
yeah,
hospital? Like where does he get the information about how to best help your mom?
oh from you talk about back to the
Yeah, yeah.
hospital case. Yeah, you call your doctor. You talk
Right.
to your doctor about
So exactly. So this is a
it.
great source of information. Joe Rogan is a terrible source of information.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
4chan, terrible source of information. Reddit,
Yeah.
terrible source of information. Occasionally
Right.
Reddit can be useful, but you don't want to tell your dad to go learn about this. You
Yeah.
want,
No.
right.
Yeah.
So that's what this whole thing is about. ChatGPT as a source of information is terrible, but everybody's using it that way.
No.
ChatGPT,
Well, yeah. Because I think that's what they're selling it as. There's a
yeah,
difference between what they're trying to sell it to you and how people use it. I don't think everyone is using that to replace doctors, to replace um, therapy. I don't think everyone is doing that. Like how you want to use that could be vastly different. But you're right that for them to think this is $1 trillion idea, it could be because they have to sell this as if it's intelligent. Because then by intelligent, you can yeah, that itself, it's like the entire business,
well,
right?
that's what I'm complaining about because that's what's
Yeah,
happening. They're selling
yeah,
it as intelligence. Like what you're describing in this kind of your use case for it, like where
yeah,
you're kind of bouncing ideas off of it. I mean, I think you're on the edge of a couple of risky things, but you're an adult and that's a,
yeah,
like it's a decent, you're not doing anything directly awful like asking about a medical advice,
yeah,
but other people are. And that's
mhm,
their $1 trillion idea is to get subscriptions to ChatGPT. And their trillion-ish dollar idea is to make it to sell it as if it's really smart give it to companies. Companies will replace workers and tell the people that don't get fired, like us, we got laid off, right? The people that are still at our companies are being told, just making this up, but you know what I'm saying. They're being told, hey, use ChatGPT or else because the billionaires are telling us it's intelligent and can replace our workers. And we bought a huge subscription to it. Be more productive. They're saying you can be 20% more productive at your job. Now go back to your email case where you used it to help you craft an email. But now you're at your job and they're telling you to be 20% more productive and make sure you use ChatGPT. Are you checking the emails as carefully? Or are you sending them on? Because what this study said was you're the exception, Tim. Checking it carefully is not what people are doing. They're doing the lazy thing that naturally comes with being told to use a tool that's smart. They're passing the email full of errors on to somebody else in your company who has to deal with it. They're using it to make work products like papers and presentations that have errors in it, and somebody else has to read it carefully and fix it. And that's what they're calling work slop.
So here, yeah, I because this is such a wide new thing that people's expectation of what they want to use it for work could be so different, right? But like, and I agree with you that like if you look at a general productivity of a workplace, improve that by 20%. But everyone's productivity at work is different, right? So for example, if like my type of productivity is just, hey, are you missing deadline? Or are you like this big project? Are we gonna be delayed or are we gonna be on time, right? And this is a general thing. And my productivity could be if my project finishes on time, then I'm 100% productive, right? Like that's, I mean, that's my how I would be evaluating on that. And maybe I can cut this project by 20%. If instead of 10 weeks, maybe I cut it to 8 weeks. That could be an increase. Now, if if I can use ChatGPT to stop me from procrastinating on a lot of things I do, for instance, think about, okay, like whiteboarding different options we can do on on a certain project. And if the whole time, like, we're just procrastinating because, wow, we freaking don't want to, like, put it on a piece of paper what we want to do because it looks stupid. Maybe if there's some guide to kind of help me to be like, okay, maybe this is what you could do. And then it's more of an interaction. You'd be like, okay, yes, I like these four ideas. Let's go deeper into it. But just that particular decision, it could save me from time for not even doing it.
So I think I see what you're saying. This is sort of the brainstorming use case. And I hear people use it.
Like, because
I
I
want to
have
throw
an
out a
ADHD, because I think you might not, because like I know like my mind is is constantly overthinking things and constantly not doing things because I'm overthinking it.
yeah. So this let me throw an alternative picture at you, and it'll help
Yeah.
us transition too. So let's imagine, look, my very first episode. I'm gonna step us all the way back, and I'll come back around to this in a second. My very first episode, I presented, I think, the most useful model of your brain, at least for me.
Mhm.
There's lots of models about how people think, social scientists and behavioral scientists and psychologists, they all build models that look like people first do this and then they do this and then they do this, and that's how they make a decision. But the one that's very good for me, and I presented this in episode 1, is your brain is a jungle. When you're born, your brain is an overgrown absolute jungle, and you cannot even walk from here to 10 feet in front of you because it's overgrown. There's trees, there's vines, there's a mess, right? There's nothing you can do to walk forward. You know nothing. As you learn, as a baby, you're learning through observation and interaction with your parents and, people around you and the world around you. You're carving out a path. Like you got, you're a little baby in there in your jungle and you got a little hacksaw and you're chopping away with an axe and sawing down some trees. You're learning from how to get from point A to point B. And everything you learn is like a path that you walk. And the more you walk that path, just like in a real jungle, the easier it gets. Like the trees become dirt. And then eventually you can build, like if you get a PhD, you build in a super highway and you master some concepts and something that you learn. If you're a doctor, you master like the human body and medicine, and you build these paths in your jungle that let you go from point A to point B. And those paths, the reason why they matter is if you go down a path to something like Tylenol, picking something from the news, like, hey, here's what I know about Tylenol. My brain knows not that much about Tylenol, but I have a path. It's dirt and I can walk it. A doctor's got a super highway where they can get in their Ferrari and they can tell me all kind of stuff about Tylenol and they can travel much faster down that path. They built it out. Like they built their brain into these pathways. So what matters for the building those paths is words. It's like the words that you read, the people that you talk to that give you words, the news stories you read, the books you read, the television shows you watch, everything, every word is like walking a path in your brain. So I say protect your brain. Make sure you're not taking in too much 4chan. Like if you go to 4chan every day and you read it, you're going to start believing those things because you're carving these paths in your brain and you're going to start to trust it. And that's what happens to the shooters who kind of go to 4chan, they sit on the politically incorrect board, and they're middle school and high school people who are like lost in this jungle of their own making in 4chan comments. So ChatGPT is a gimmick that spits out words that are often really wrong, but always a little bit wrong. So I don't think that the approach to brainstorming should be in ChatGPT. It should be in talking to some people. Because if you're like, let's say we're doing like negative thoughts. Like we were talking about this a little bit. So in your brain as a jungle concept, like sometimes you start carving out these negative words and phrases that like impact you. And the more you hear somebody say you suck at something, the more you start to believe it because that path is getting worn. And then you have to recognize, oh, somebody, wore this path in my brain and now I'm traveling it all the time. I need an alternate path that says I don't suck, I can learn. And those positive paths kind of like can run in parallel and you can get better. Like you can teach yourself, hey, go down the positive way. This comes up in working out. This is kind of how I want to transition it a little bit if we can, because I do that Instagram account, right? Like Fit at 50. I knew when I started at 49 and 9 months that I was out of shape. Luckily, in my youth, I had worn how to get in shape paths into my brain. Like I knew the formula for getting in shape because for 15 or 20 years, I was in the gym 5 days a week. So I knew what it took. I knew how long it was going to take. And I had these, like, I couldn't deal with the comment of, wow, I got out of shape. Like I could look at the doctor sends me a note that says, Mike, your BMI is like, you're borderline obese. This is bad. So the negative thoughts I could overcome because I had had all these positive thoughts before. But something people really struggle with, I believe, is in fitness, you want results too fast. The consistency part of it you're easily talked out of by those negative thoughts. And if you start asking ChatGPT to say, hey, give me some positive comment every day about, you know, why I should work out, 100 days in, it could work. And 101 days, ChatGPT messes up. It says something bad to you. It's like, Tim, you're never going to be in shape. Give up. You've been asking me this every day for 100 days. Give up. So don't count on ChatGPT. Count on a cool community of people that you find that like fitness. And yeah, it's a little harder to come by. That's why I post my stuff on my Instagram. It's like for me to be accountable, but it's also so down the road, somebody else can look at it and say, if this dummy got in shape when he was 50, that means I could do it. And people like that exist all over the internet, where they can provide help and you're talking to a real person. But what we see now is ChatGPT is substituting that interaction because it's easier to get to ChatGPT than it is the community of good workout folks. You take the ChatGPT route. And I know that people vaping is bad for you, smoking is bad for you. People did it, it caused cancer. But we can still say to people on Fulkit, hey, look, just think about what we're saying. Think about your brain is the most precious thing you've got. Like in this world, if something bad goes down, like right now, things are going south. We could be in like concentration camp Nazi America before you know it. And we've all got to survive. The way we survive is our brain. So it's like the best defense we have is not to use ChatGPT. Use our brain, make it sharp, develop the skill sets that we need, and refuse to follow the AI bros down this $1 trillion con. I talked a lot. Go ahead.
No, I think you're right. It's like how it's kind of like when before Tinder came about, right? You would actually have to go out and meet somebody. And that takes a lot of courage for someone to really do that.
Yeah.
And there's some people that would just say, "Never mind, I'm good. I'm just gonna be by myself. Like for the rest of my life, I'm not going to meet someone physically." And Tinder came about, and maybe they were like, "Oh, okay, now this is a new way for me to try something to meet people. I don't have to go to a bar." And to that person, it helped. It could be 10, 20 people that help, but out of that 10 and 20, there might be 100 people that used to go to bars, but now are forced to use Tinder, and now they're having a lot worse experience than back then when we were going to the bar. So people will be like, "Yeah, remember that time when we can have to actually meet somebody before we, talk about all that stuff, right?" It's the same concept. But would you, if those 20 people that found value that they wouldn't done, is that like how would that person
I see
kind
what
of
you're
see it?
saying. Like to me, technology has always had this problem. Like I'm
Right,
not describing a new problem like you're saying
right,
because we've done it in the past and like my generation we didn't have cell phones. We had landline phones with like rotary and push button and you had a
yeah,
cord and you had one at a time call coming in the house when I was growing up. You had to be home when the lights came on or you got in trouble, street lights. Didn't have a quarter, you couldn't make a call to let somebody know where you were. So it was a lot different growing up.
Yeah.
as a kid, and it's technology has done these things. It's changed. It's just changed. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But in this
Back then,
case,
you didn't have to worry about anyone can call you anytime they want, and their expectation is you can see them calling you.
right,
Right?
right,
That
right,
was a,
totally
you can
new.
go out and play. Don't give a fuck. Like, okay, I said I'll be back by 7:30, and I'll be back by then. Then I don't have to hear from
Yep, yep, exactly. I mean, it was wild growing up back then. But
it was easy. I mean, yeah.
yeah, like you were literally wild. Like you had autonomy. So we lost a lot of privacy. We lost a lot of things. We gained stuff as well. In this case, what what I think is different is ChatGPT and tools like it are threatening our economy. They're threatening our education system such that people will not be able to learn. Because in those other cases, people learn new skills. Like you learned how to find people online through dating apps versus find people online through real life, bar situations. In this case, what you're replacing is your own learning ability. You're letting your brain
I was
atrophy.
just
Yeah.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
thinking like no, just I was just thinking when you were saying that, like shit, I don't have to go to church. Because before online dating, I might have to join a church just to
Meet
meet a girl
people.
I want to marry, you
Yeah.
know? Like now, like shit, I don't need you. I got OK Cupid. That was that was back then, that's what we used.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
it changed everything. Technology always is changing everything. But I believe you have like our brain is a muscle. If your brain starts growing vines in your dirt paths of like things that you've learned in life and it gets overgrown, that's it. You don't you lost. You lost the game of life if your brain turns into mush. So I know not everybody's going to be Albert Einstein. Like I'll never be Albert Einstein. And you can't convince everybody to do healthy things all the time. It's not about that. It's just about having brain power enough to take care of yourself in the world. We do need everybody to learn a basic amount of stuff because we pass on knowledge to the next generation. Like history could die. Like if we don't educate our kids, 100 years from now, you and I are gone. Everybody that knows us is gone in 100 years. For almost the entire world, very few people are going to live in anybody's brains past 100 years. Like even these podcasts, they won't even exist. Like Google's going to archive them, and we're 100 years from now, we're gone. Our kids won't remember us. Our grandkids are not going to remember us either. Human history has that long. Like we have to persist past that. And if we don't, we don't. But we're on this rock, right? Floating around in outer space. It's hurtling through outer space, actually. And it's a rock. It's got a molten core in the middle. It was a product of multiple rocks crashing into each other at high speed and then melting. And then over billions of years, the right combination of amino acids struck and we developed intelligent life. So intelligence is the most precious thing that we know of in the universe. Like there is nothing worth preserving more than intelligence because we have never found another one. We're light years like we are so far away from another intelligent thing that exists on this universe. We will never even know it. And so
I
we
think what you're saying, it's all good. I think it's because you and I grew up with different backgrounds. Like you grew up in this what in the 70s when America is like the freaking top of the world, and it's kind of having a like this is how the future is going to be. Like I lived in China where I literally don't have a pot to piss in. Like, like we have no sewage. Like we there's yeah. Like I told you so many uh times how we have to take poop out to dump because we don't have like what do you call it? Like
Indoor plumbing.
plumbing. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have indoor plumbing, and like we grew up in a way like man, just do yourself, like just improve your own life, and I hope you get out of this. It's kind of like everyone's like, "Oh, you go into America, oh, thank God you don't have to deal with this shit. Like like good for you. Like you made it out. Like so my mind is always constantly thinking, okay, whatever I see, how does this improve my life or improve my family's life maybe? Like I have no kind of I was never taught to that how does this thing impact society because we never had that like set up to 10. I never think that's like even a topic that we can talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me throw it at you because I think you're right. And it's important to look at it from your own perspective. But I see it in school. I mean, I see it right now.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
impacts me. You're going to see it in about 6 years.
yeah,
It's going to impact you differently 6 years from now if everything stays the same, because you're going to get a call from your school teacher and it's going to say, we think, you know, we think your son or daughter, I'm not going to commit to anything since we're on the internet, has cheated. And what's worse, we think they've been cheating for years and they don't even know the basic skills. So they're way behind right now.
yeah. I mean, if that happened to me, I I I would consider that to be a failure on my part. That I don't know that. You know what I mean? Like I just a real case. If I ever got that call, I'm like, shit, what have I been doing?
But
Like,
would it matter? Because people right now are getting that call. And
yeah,
would it
I
even
think it's
matter? Like, it
if
doesn't
your
matter
kids are
whose
in
fault it
school, yeah,
is. Like, whose fault doesn't matter. It's like at that point, it's too late. So that's what I'm saying. By the time everybody else it impacts personally, it's too late. So either you think about it, and really, I'm way
yeah,
more negative. I
yeah,
think I'm way more negative because we're not going to stop it. Most people don't care. We've seen how this world is going in this USA kind of thing, but it's global, it's everywhere. Most people don't care about democracy. They don't care about fighting for the bigger picture. They didn't care that our president was a felon. They didn't care that he was a rapist. They don't care that he was a pedophile, more than likely. They don't care. They wanted a billionaire who shits in a gold toilet to destroy the democracy for whatever reason they wanted it. But I just think it's they don't care about anything. Like they have that nihilistic view. So what I'm saying is, in recognition of that, don't be a sucker because 99% of every kid out there is gonna cheat, just like we would have cheated if we were kids in school. They're gonna fall behind. Make sure you are understand this and protect yourself because the world is going to get darker. And in that darkness, this is all you got. That's my angle, right? Like to your point, right?